Zoho Project provides a powerful automation feature called workflow rules by performing actions automatically whenever a specific conditions are met. So by end of this video, you will understand how to create, configure a workflow rule from start to finish. Imagine a company managing multiple client projects at the same time. New projects are created every week, project managers are assigned, delivery teams start working, management needs visibility, clients expect a timely progress. But the problem is, whenever a new project is created, the project manager has to manually inform the delivery head. The delivery head has to notify to the management team. Project status updates are done manually, completion updates are sometimes missed, and important stakeholders may not know when a project has started, changed, or completed. So this creates a confusion inside the organization. So the project team may be working, but management may not have the visibility. The project may be completed, but the status may still show as active. A new project may be created, but the concerned team may not receive an immediate notification. So the real problem is not just project management. The real problem is manual project coordination. And this is where workflow rules in Zoho Projects can make a big difference. In project management, creating a tasks and project is only the part of a process. The bigger challenge is making sure the right people are informed at the right time. For example, when a new client project is created, the project manager, the delivery head, and the management team should be notified immediately. When a project reaches 100% completion, the status should be automatically changed to completed. When a project date is approaching, stakeholders should receive a reminder. If all of this is handled manually, there is always a chance of delay, missed updates, and human error. So to solve this, Zoho Project provides a powerful automation feature called workflow rules. Workflow rules helps automating your repetitive project management activities by performing actions automatically whenever a specific conditions are met. So these actions can include email notification, field updates, webhooks, custom notifications. So now let's see how this can be configured within Zoho Projects. So I will demonstrate you how to create a workflow rule in Zoho Projects. So workflow rules helps automating your repetitive project management activities by automatically performing actions whenever a specific conditions are met. So these actions will include sending an email notification, updating the fields, triggering the webhooks, or executing a custom functions. So by end of this video, you will understand how to create, configure a workflow rule from start to finish. So let's begin by navigating into the workflow rules section. So from the projects dashboard, click on Setup. Under Setup, select Automation and then choose Workflow Rules. So this is the central location where all project automation rules are managed. So to create a new workflow rule, let's click on the Create Rule button. The first step is to define the workflow rule. Here, you can enter a meaningful workflow rule name that clearly describes the purpose of the automation. So let's take an example. I am creating a rule called Project Creation Notification. So in this description field, I can explain what is the workflow is intended to do. In this case, the workflow will automatically notify the management whenever a new project is created. So providing clear names and descriptions makes the workflow maintenance much easier in the future. Next, we need to define when this workflow should run. So Zoho Project provides a different execution triggers depending on the business requirement. The most commonly used option is based on user action, where the workflow rules executes when a user performs an activity such as creating or editing a project. So let's take an example. We can trigger the workflow when a project is created, when a project is edited, or either of these events. This option is ideal when we want an immediate automation after a user action. Another available option is based on date and time. This trigger is useful when actions need to occur relative to project dates. For example, when we send a reminder before a project end date, notify the stakeholders before the project milestones, or initiate a follow-up activities based on the custom date fields. As an example, a reminder can be configured to trigger 3 days before the project's end date. Next step is configure workflow criteria. After defining the trigger, we need to configure the criteria. So criteria determine exactly which workflow should get activated, and click on the add criteria and select the required project fields and conditions. For example, we can configure the workflow rule to execute when the project status is equal to active, and additional conditions can also be added here. For instance, the workflow rule can also have when a project status is active or the project type is customer project. This ensures that the automation only applies to relevant projects and prevents unnecessary workflow executions. Next step, configure workflow actions. So once the criteria are defined, the next step is configuring the action that should occur when the workflow is triggered. So let's click on action and click on add action. So Zoho Project provides several automation options including email alerts, field updates, webhooks, and custom functions. So let's review each option. Action type 1, email alert. So select an email alert, and the email alert can be like, email alerts are used to automatically notify the users or stakeholders. For an example, when a project is created, the system can automatically send an email notification to the project manager, delivery head, or to the management team. So this ensures important stakeholders are informed immediately without any manual effort. Action type 2 is field update. So let's select field update. So field updates allow Zoho Projects to automatically modify project information. So for example, when certain conditions are met, the workflow can update the project status to in progress or completed or to any of the status. So this helps maintain accurate project data without requiring users to manually update the records. Action type 3 is webhook. So let's select webhook. So webhooks are used to integrate Zoho projects with an external systems. When the workflow executes, project information can be automatically sent to applications such as Zoho CRM or any third-party systems. This is particularly useful when project information needs to be synchronized across multiple business applications. Action type 4, custom function. So let's select custom function. So custom functions provide advanced automation capabilities using dilute scripting. So organizations can create custom business logic, automate cross-application processes, or generate related records in other Zoho applications. So this option is typically used when standard workflow actions are not sufficient to meet the business requirements. So let's look into a practical example. So in this workflow, the trigger is configured to execute when a project is created. The criteria ensures that only projects with active statuses are considered. The action in this email alert sent to the project manager, delivery head, and manage team. So as a result, whenever a new active project is created, the selected recipients automatically receive a notification. Here's another example. This workflow executes when a project is edited. The criteria check whether the project completion is reached 100%. If the condition is met, the workflow automatically updates the status field to completed. This eliminates the need for project managers to manually update the project status once the work is finished. And the last step is to save the workflow. So before saving the workflow, review all the trigger conditions, the criteria, and the configured actions. Once everything has been verified, click Save Rule. The workflow becomes active immediately and will start monitoring project activities based on the configurations provided. So before concluding, here are few recommendations. Use meaningful workflow names. Keep the criteria specific to avoid unnecessary executions. Always test workflows before deploying them in production environment. Document the workflows for easier maintenance. And periodically review workflows to ensure they remain aligned with the business requirements. To summarize, workflow rules in Zoho Projects, it helps to automate the project management process by defining triggers, conditions, and actions. They reduce manual effort, improve consistency, and ensure that important project-related activities happen automatically. And I hope this demonstration helps you understand how to create and manage workflow rules in Zoho Projects. So with workflow rules in Zoho Projects, businesses can automate the repetitive project activities and improve operational control. So the benefits are clear. Important stakeholders are notified automatically, project statuses are updated accurately, manual follow-ups are reduced, project manager saves the time, management gets a better visibility, and team becomes more accountable and project operations become more consistent. So before workflow automation, teams may depend on emails, calls, manual updates, and reminders. But after seeing up the workflow rules in Zoho Projects, the system takes care of the routine actions automatically. And this helps companies manage projects more professionally and reduce operational gaps. So Zoho Projects is not just a project tracking tool. While implemented properly, it can become a complete project automation system for your business. With workflow rules, businesses can automate notifications, update the fields, connect with your other systems, and reduce repetitive manual work. At Zentegra, we do not just configure Zoho applications. We understand your complete business process. We identify where delays happen, where manual work can be reduced, and how technology can improve your operations. Whether it is Zoho Projects, Zoho CRM, Zoho Desk, Creator, Inventory, Books, or complete Zoho ecosystem, we help businesses build smart, scalable, and automated systems. If you want to improve project execution, reduce manual follow-ups, and transform the way the business should operate, connect with Zentegra. Let's transform your business completely with the help of technology. Thank you. Bye.